Have you ever thought about how you should behave when someone disrespects you in public or makes an unpleasant joke that leaves you feeling belittled or embarrassed? How can you gain respect, even from those who habitually fail to recognize the value of others? How do you gain respect from people who tend to devalue those around them? Throughout this video, we will explore several psychological tips and techniques that will help you deal with such situations effectively, ensuring that you gain the immediate respect of those around you. Watch until the end, because we will show you exactly how to behave when someone tries to ridicule you publicly. Let's start by analyzing the reasons why you might find yourself in a similar situation and understanding why sometimes you don't receive the respect you deserve. In many cases, the problem is not related to feelings of hatred or contempt towards you, but rather to the opportunism that characterizes certain people. There are individuals who, in order to improve their position, try to get ahead by taking advantage of others. This type of behavior is common both in groups of friends and in work environments, where some people see others as mere tools to advance and distinguish themselves. To avoid becoming a target of this dynamic, it is essential that you establish respect for yourself right from the start. But what exactly does gaining respect mean? It's not about imposing respect on someone, but about preventing others from taking advantage of you to make themselves look better. If the situation requires it, you must also be willing to distance yourself from environments that do not value your presence. However, it is always preferable to prevent this from becoming necessary. To this end, we will share some practical tips for dealing with situations in which someone tries to belittle you, whether in work, social, or family contexts. Before continuing, we invite you to support our work by leaving a like on this video and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Now, without further ado, let's move on to the first tip. Tip 1. When meeting someone for the first time, the way you present yourself matters more than you might think. First impressions are often made within the first few moments of an interaction, and subtle cues, like body language, can speak volumes. One of the most important gestures in this initial encounter is the handshake. While it may seem like a small detail, the way you handle this simple action can set the tone for how the other person perceives you. Standing up to greet someone when they approach you is a sign of respect and confidence. If you remain seated, it can give the impression that you're disinterested or too comfortable in your own position, possibly signaling to the other person that you don't value the interaction. On the other hand, standing shows that you are ready to engage, present, and open to the encounter. It positions you at the same level as the other person, which helps prevent any perception of you being subordinate to them. In many social and professional situations, establishing equality early on is important in fostering mutual respect and understanding. Another common mistake people make during greetings is looking at the other person's hand rather than their face. When you focus on their hand, even momentarily, it inadvertently shifts your gaze downward. This can make you appear uncertain or submissive, reinforcing a power imbalance. Instead, making eye contact is crucial. It signals that you are fully engaged and paying attention to the person in front of you. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools we have for building rapport and trust, and it conveys a sense of confidence and honesty. In addition to demonstrating attentiveness, eye contact also helps establish a connection. When you look someone in the eye, it communicates that you value them enough to focus on their presence and establish a direct line of communication. It shows that you are present in the moment and ready to engage with them as equals, not as someone who is beneath or above them. It's also important to keep the eye contact natural and balanced. Too little eye contact can suggest a lack of confidence or interest, while too much can come across as intimidating. The goal is to maintain comfortable, steady eye contact to convey your focus and presence without overdoing it. When you stand up and shake hands with eye contact, you are displaying confidence without arrogance. It's a simple yet powerful gesture that says, "I am here, I value this interaction, and I'm ready to engage with you." This action helps to create a positive perception and makes the other person feel valued. This principle is especially important in professional settings where how you greet someone can impact how you are perceived in terms of leadership, professionalism, and approachability. Ultimately, your first impression is not just about what you say, but how you present yourself through body language. Standing up when meeting someone and making eye contact during the handshake are small but significant actions that can help you establish a positive connection. These habits show confidence, respect, and attentiveness, all qualities that can set you apart in any interaction. By being mindful of these behaviors, you create a foundation for a more successful and impactful exchange, one that leaves a lasting impression of strength, openness, and mutual respect. Tip 2. When someone interrupts you in public during a conversation, a strong response isn't about using harsh words or raising your voice. Instead, it's about using non-verbal cues to assert yourself. One of the most effective ways to handle this situation is by meeting the interrupter with a steady, determined look. This simple, controlled response conveys confidence and control over the situation, silently reminding the other person that they have overstepped a boundary. By maintaining eye contact without a hint of anger or frustration, you send a powerful message that says you are aware of the interruption and that it was unwelcome. This approach is often enough to make the other person realize their behavior was inappropriate. Most people, upon seeing a calm yet assertive response, tend to reflect and recognize their mistake without further confrontation. The unspoken communication that your gaze holds is both a reminder of respect and a subtle request for the other person to pause and allow you to finish speaking. If the situation requires a verbal follow-up, you can reinforce your stance with polite but assertive phrases like, "Can I continue?" or "Can I pick up where I left off?" These expressions are non-confrontational and serve as a gentle reminder that you were speaking and would like the opportunity to finish your point. This way, you're not only re-establishing control, but also setting boundaries politely. By addressing the interruption with calm words and steady eye contact, you demonstrate self-respect and respect for the conversational flow. In public contexts, this strategy is particularly effective because it does not escalate tension. In fact, it de-escalates potential conflict by keeping your response calm and measured. Often, the subtlety of the firm look and polite request prevents the situation from turning into a public display of confrontation, which can sometimes leave both parties feeling embarrassed or tense. Furthermore, others observing the exchange will see that you handled the situation with composure, indirectly reinforcing their perception of you as a confident, self-assured individual. An assertive but calm response also prevents the interrupter from becoming defensive. By avoiding an accusatory tone or an overly intense gaze, you reduce the chance of the other person feeling attacked, which can make them more open to acknowledging their mistake. The key is to keep your body language relaxed but intentional. A slight shift forward or a slight raise of the eyebrows can subtly convey your intention to continue speaking without any aggression. Interestingly, this tactic can also improve the respect you receive in social and professional circles. By handling interruptions with composure, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated. Others may notice your calm, confident response and become more mindful of allowing you to complete your thoughts in future interactions. This not only helps you communicate more effectively, but also enhances your presence, making others more likely to listen and engage with you attentively. In many cases, A well-placed look and a polite question are all it takes to reclaim your space in a conversation. This approach is particularly valuable in situations where words alone may not get the message across. Over time, practicing this technique can make you feel more in control of your interactions, empowering you to handle interruptions gracefully while setting a respectful precedent for your conversations. Tip 3. When someone tries to humiliate you with a joke in a group, responding strategically can turn the tables on them and diffuse the situation. Rather than reacting immediately or showing that the joke affected you, a composed approach can convey confidence and maintain your dignity. The most effective tactic here is to act as though the joke didn't even register with you. By pretending you didn't hear or understand it, you subtly communicate that the joke wasn't clever or important enough to catch your attention, which can be disarming for the person who made it. Once you have established this initial calm, you can turn to the person and, with a neutral expression, ask them to repeat what they said. A simple, "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Could you say that again?" invites the person to restate their attempt at humor, but this time with everyone's attention on the mechanics of the joke itself. By asking them to repeat it, you strip the joke of its spontaneity, which is often key to its impact. The person now has to consciously decide if they want to repeat what may be an unkind or embarrassing comment, which can make them realize how inappropriate or weak the joke actually was. This technique works because jokes that seek to embarrass or humiliate someone often rely on a quick, fleeting effect. If they're said once, they can land without much scrutiny, but repeating it, especially in front of others, puts the person making the joke under a spotlight. The humor tends to diminish, and any hint of maliciousness or mockery becomes more evident, often causing the joke to fall flat. In many cases, the person will hesitate or even abandon the attempt entirely, realizing that the joke will not have the intended effect a second time. If they do go ahead and repeat it, the group is less likely to find it amusing, since it now lacks the surprise and immediacy it had the first time. Beyond neutralizing the immediate situation, this approach also has the added benefit of setting a precedent. By showing that you're unaffected by attempts to undermine or embarrass you, you communicate a level of self-assuredness that discourages further attempts. Those who might try to target you with jokes in the future will see that you're not easily rattled and that any attempt to make you uncomfortable is likely to backfire. In social dynamics, this projects a sense of inner strength and poise, showing others that you won't react impulsively or emotionally when faced with teasing or criticism. Another advantage of this tactic is that it allows you to maintain control without escalating the situation. Often, reacting defensively or responding with a comeback can lead to further tension or create a back-and-forth exchange, which may make you look affected or give the other person more material to work with. Instead, by keeping your response low-key and unfazed, you send a message that you're above the pettiness, which can earn you respect and prevent the situation from turning confrontational. In the end, this approach not only deflects a potentially uncomfortable moment, but also shifts any embarrassment onto the person who made the joke. It subtly highlights the insecurity or lack of tact in their attempt to get a laugh at someone else's expense. Over time, handling situations in this manner can contribute to a reputation for calm confidence, teaching others that you're not easily moved by negative attention and that any attempt to undermine you is likely to end up as an uncomfortable moment for them instead. Tip 4. When someone is trying to provoke you or make you angry, responding with a calm, unexpected comment can be a powerful way to diffuse the situation. This approach, which involves steering the conversation in an unrelated direction, works because it disrupts the provocateur's focus, leaving them uncertain about how to proceed. Instead of reacting defensively or with hostility, which is what they might expect. This technique takes control of the conversation, introducing a topic that's unrelated to their provocation. For instance, if someone is making pointed comments or trying to escalate tension, you could respond with a question like, "Do you know a good place to get coffee around here?" Or, "I think I wore too much perfume today. What do you think?" These comments are neutral, innocuous, and most importantly, unexpected. They give no indication that you're riled up or affected by the provocation. On the contrary, they subtly signal that you're unbothered by the other person's attempts and are choosing to redirect the conversation to something you're more comfortable discussing. This technique works on a psychological level by disrupting the provocateur's narrative. They likely have a mental roadmap guiding their attempt to get under your skin. Each reaction you give can fuel their strategy. But by introducing an out-of-context topic, you effectively scramble their plan, introducing an element of unpredictability. This unexpected turn can make them lose momentum or even question if their attempt to provoke you is worth the effort. Since provocation often thrives on a sense of tension, frustration, or agitation, a casual or random comment cuts the energy they're trying to build. What's more, this technique reflects inner confidence and emotional maturity. You're showing that you don't feel the need to engage with negativity and are unafraid to control the direction of the conversation. By responding in a way that seems effortless and natural, you're reinforcing the idea that you're not only unfazed, but also uninterested in escalating the interaction. This calm, seemingly aloof response often causes the other person to rethink their approach. They may even begin to feel embarrassed that their attempt to provoke you was met with such indifference. However, it's essential to keep your tone and expression neutral. If it appears that you're deliberately deflecting, the other person may catch on, which could escalate their behavior further. So practice delivering your comment in a way that seems genuine and spontaneous. The goal is to convey that you're genuinely interested in discussing coffee or perfume, rather than directly ignoring them, which can be a more subtle yet powerful message. The beauty of this technique is that it's non-confrontational. It doesn't involve any direct dismissal of the other person's words. Instead, it merely shows that their words haven't registered as worthy of attention. For example, if someone is subtly mocking you or criticizing your choices in a social setting, a nonchalant question about an unrelated topic can make their comments seem trivial and unimportant. You're not denying their ability to express themselves, but you're simply not engaging on their terms. Over time, people who repeatedly try to get a reaction from you may begin to realize that their efforts are futile and may abandon such tactics altogether. This response strategy not only helps maintain your composure, but also sends a strong message about your boundaries and emotional resilience. Rather than getting drawn into their attempt to control your emotions, you subtly assert that you control your own reactions. Tip 5. People are not obligated to respect you, but likewise, you are not obligated to tolerate disrespect. Respect is a two-way street. When it is lacking in a relationship, interaction, or environment, there's a significant imbalance. Recognizing when this imbalance occurs and knowing when to step away is a powerful move. Walking away doesn't signify defeat or weakness. It's a declaration of self-worth and a commitment to surrounding yourself with people who value you. Choosing to walk away from someone who treats you poorly is a testament to your own boundaries. It's a reminder that you are in control of who deserves a place in your life. This decision is based on the understanding that continuing to engage with disrespectful behavior not only erodes self-respect, but also signals to others that such behavior is acceptable. When you choose to remove yourself from a space where you aren't valued, it sends a message that you prioritize self-respect over a one-sided relationship, helping to cultivate more authentic connections. Being an appreciated absence rather than a devalued presence, reinforces this perspective. Sometimes, by choosing to distance yourself, you make room for reflection, for both you and the other person involved. Your absence may prompt them to consider the consequences of their behavior and potentially spark a change. But even if it doesn't, you've upheld your boundaries, which in itself is a victory. For example, imagine a workplace where a colleague or superior continuously undermines or belittles you. While remaining professional is essential, enduring disrespect on a regular basis can become a serious strain. Opting to distance yourself or seeking a healthier environment shows respect for your contributions and worth. By moving on, you reinforce that respect is a non-negotiable aspect of any professional setting. Similarly, in personal relationships, such as friendships or family dynamics, tolerating ongoing disrespect can compromise your self-esteem and emotional well-being. When people in your life repeatedly disregard your boundaries or belittle your values, continuing to engage with them can drain you emotionally. Stepping back, even temporarily, may be necessary to protect your well-being and signal that respect is foundational in any relationship. Walking away does not have to be permanent, but it can serve as a catalyst for change, illustrating to others that their behavior has consequences. Now, let's hear from you. Have you ever faced a situation where you had to decide between tolerating disrespect or walking away? How did you handle it, and what impact did it have on you or the other person? Your experiences can offer valuable insights and encouragement to others in similar situations. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and stories in the comments. Thank you for being part of this journey, and we'll see you in the next video.